Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to get out of the pool and come inside for John Perrotta's Comedy Chat Zoom Alooza, sponsored in part by Ovaltine. And now, the man who can balance a sparkler on his head while singing the Star-Spangled Banner, your host, John Perrotta.
We got Mike Cronin,
Well said.
the bad boy of comedy, turned religious comic. Mike Cronin, thanks for being my cohort in crime. We got tonight's guest. We got a lot of funny comics, great friends of mine. Steve Turgeon is in the house, Steve. And we got Larisa Entin, Larisa. And we got my good friend Kristy Lafleur. Of course, we got Mike. And 4th of July weekend, I hope you guys had a good 4th. I don't know if I showed you the other night. My daughter came over. Now she's mask crazy. Like some people don't want to wear masks. My daughter brought this over. I don't know if I showed you guys. Brought this over. Like where am I supposed to wear this thing? Look at this thing. I feel like I'm out of space. I feel like I'm lost in space. I'm gonna go in a store with this on. I said, you're crazy.
Well, that's great. If you ever have to weld, or it's like the cone of silence from, that'd be great with Get Smart. It's the cone of silence.
What am I going to do with that? That's what I want to know. I had a crazy week. I had to go to the dentist. The tooth fell out. And my dentist moved to Quincy, Mass. And I went to another one he sent me to. They were like, they wanted $4,000 or $5,000 for an implant for one tooth. So I went to my dentist, Dr. Shabazian, great guy. I went to Quincy, saw him. He took, the tooth was up in the gums, like he took this thing out. It was unbelievable how big it was. And now I got to get a bridge. I got to get a bridge. So that's going to cost a couple of thousand, but he's giving me a good price. But so I've had a crazy week. He had the mask on like this too. When I went to the dentist, he had this kind of mask on.
What is that made out of, John?
She bought it at CVS. It's just plastic, and she put the things in to wear it. And I don't think I'll ever wear it in my life. I don't know.
Well, John, listen, I wear this for 12 hours every day at work.
You wear this kind of mask, Larisa?
Well, yeah, I'm a registered nurse, so I wear N95, and God forbid I have fluids, so I have to wear this mask on top of my N95.
And Larissa's a nurse. Let's all give her a hand because she's a first responder on the front lines, and she has to wear the mask. I know sometimes I run on, I don't have it on. Sometimes I try to wear it, but you know what I mean? But Larisa has to wear it. She's got to wear it. 12-hour shifts too, right?
Yes.
Wow. How's it been in the hospital? How's it been?
It's busy. It's very busy. Very busy. Yeah. And I'll tell you, even as a teenager, I never had any facial rash, and I never had any issues. But I broke into such a severe rash by wearing all those masks. And I went to a dermatologist, and he actually told me to use a shampoo, which has chemicals, and just wash off my face with that shampoo every day.
Yeah.
And the rash is gone.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures on the news of first responders, nurses and doctors, after they wear their mask for like 12-hour shifts, 15-hour shifts, and they look like their face is like, it's rough. This pandemic, I mean, it's going up in 40 states now. It's like, I mean, I hope they find a cure, because for us, for comedy, there's scattered shows now, but for it to come back like we were, we're going to need our audiences back, and it's not going to happen the way it is. I mean, you'll get a show here or there, but we're not going to get shows like we were, you know what I mean, until they find, I hope they get a vaccine, you know, sooner than later, you know what I mean?
Well, maybe we could do some Zoom shows where we talk about rashes. Maybe that'll get people back.
Because we're going to have a common problem, right?
That's right. Yes, I know. You want to talk about my rash?
Sure.
Never mind. No, let's not.
Steve. Kristy Lafleur. Now, Kristy, remember, she told me a story. Very funny, Kristy, but you told me a story that I didn't even remember. She said, before she got into comedy, I met her years before. We used to do comedy. If I remember right, you told me Tweet Balzano's.
Yes, Tweet Balzano's in Bristol.
Yeah, we used to do outside. I loved it over there. We used to do outside. And he used to give food for the comics and for the people, free food. And Kristy said she came up to me at a show, and she talked to me with her friend, and I didn't remember, but she said that's how I met you, John, years before she got into comedy. I don't know when that was. That was probably quite a while ago.
It was, I believe it was like 2008 or 9, if I'm not mistaken. It was quite a while ago. Yeah, I was a fan since, John.
Yeah.
look at now, I get to work with you.
And when did you get into comedy?
2007.
2007?
No, 2017. I'm sorry, 2017.
Yeah. She's had some. Larisa has great sets. You've had great sets. Steve's done really well. Mike's a Christian comic. If you like Christian comedy, he's your man. If I walk in, they'll probably evict me. They'll tell me to leave.
There you go, man. There you go.
What's going on with you, Mike?
You
said you went for a bike ride. You were telling us before the show.
Yeah, I went for a bike ride. I try to get out for a bike ride at least every day.
Yeah, I went out for one. I told you I went out for one in '72. That was my last bike ride. Did you
just get back?
That was it. Yeah, I got back. I got back around 75, and then I went and Navy. Never rode a bike. Never rode a bike again.
So, Mike, how far did you ride?
I just go through my neighborhood here in North Providence. Where I live, I'm 62 years old now, Steve. So the legs aren't what they once were. Years ago, I was an avid rider. I had a Trek mountain bike. This is also a Trek. This is a Trek hybrid, though. This is an FX1 disc stagger frame. I used to ride here in North Providence right to my mom and dad's house in Warwick. I would do the power line trails. I was unstoppable. So now at 62, what I found out is Grampy Mike is not in the shape that he was way back in the day. So now I just ride through my neighborhood. I was telling a story the other night of when I first started riding again, only about a month ago, 3 big hills to get up out of my neighborhood. I fell at the top of all 3 of them. So I am mastering the art of driving on the flat land, and then eventually I'll come up out of the hills, get down to Colt State Park, get down to the bike path. Kristy, I wanted to ask you, back in the 90s, I performed at a club out in Bristol out that way. I don't know, John, if it was one of your shows or if it was a Comedy Connection show that Dana booked me at. This was a really cool club, and out the back, they had a big deck that went right out to like Narragansett Bay. Is that the club you're talking about?
You know, it might be. It's been quite a while. I just don't remember if it was on the water, but they had a huge back area. I don't think it was a deck to my memory. I'm trying to think. They had a tent set up on the outdoor area. I think it was more pavement than deck.
Yeah, Tweet Lozano's wasn't. There wasn't water.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah,
I don't think it was Tweets, but it sounds pretty.
Yeah, this place was really cool. That was back, way back in the bad boy of comedy days. So, I could have been in West Warwick. Who knows? I used to drink a lot back then. But I remember that club as being really cool, and it was right on Narragansett Bay.
Yeah, I don't think it was Tweets, but it sounds nice.
Well, everything's nice in Bristol. Everything's nice out there. My grandfather owned some land out there. This is crazy. In the 70s, land in Bristol's expensive now.
Oh, yeah.
My grandfather owned land near the water, like 2 streets over from the water. And then he wanted to give it to my father. He wanted to give it to my father's brother. None of them wanted it. I was a young kid. He winds up selling the land for like peanuts. Years later, I could have had land in Bristol near the water. That always bothered me. Why my grandfather he wanted to get rid of it. We used to go there when I was a kid in the summers. It was near the water in Bristol. It was beautiful. And so he wound up giving it away it's crazy. But when Mike got into comedy, I met Mike around 91, 92 at Periwinkle's Comedy Club. I always tell a story. He had a persona, became the bad boy of comedy. He had long hair. He'd wear his jacket, and he used to kill it. He was dirty. He was a dirty comic. And then eventually he got into Christian comedy, and he's got which he runs, Laughter and Hope.
Laughter and Hope Ministries.
Laughter and Hope Ministries. Give it a plug, Mike. What do you guys do?
Laughter and Hope Ministries my dear friend and partner who John knows, Tommy Morin, we came together and we formed what we call Laughter and Hope Ministries. You can visit us online, laughterandhope.com. We do events at theaters, churches. We've been in the prisons here in Rhode Island, in Massachusetts. And that's what we do now. We use the gospel of Jesus Christ as a bridge
So that
to
means
salvation.
Kristy and I wouldn't be able to be in any of those shows.
Oh yeah, I immediately not even get entrance.
Oh man, I'm out.
I don't think they're gonna book us.
I wouldn't even be invited to the show.
Sure you would. Sure you would.
Well, I did do 2 churches last year. I did 2 churches and I did well.
Yeah, I did a church. I did a church.
I didn't swear. Yeah, I didn't swear. They liked it, so I did unbelievable. I did a church, 2 of them. Yeah.
I've had this discussion with John privately. Back in the 90s, when I developed the bad boy of comedy persona, I don't think there was anyone as aggressively, not like really foul mouth dirty, but I had a very aggressive, goofy act, and I talked a lot of blue comedy. And Charlie Hall, who is a good friend of mine, I used to hound Charlie Hall, asking him to give me a dinner show. And he'd always say, Michael, I think you're funny, but you're not clever and clean. And he used to always with that mantra. Dana, who ran the Comedy Connection for 15 plus years as a general manager, used to give me a ton of work outside the Comedy Connection. And I remember one time I did a contest at the Comedy Connection with our dear friend Rock and Joe, and she came right back into the green room and she said, Cronin, I give you plenty of work outside of the connection for your act. Keep it clean here. And as I said to John, over the years, I wish I had taken the advice of Charlie Hall, taken the advice of Dana, and worked clean. Now, like Dana said to me in a private conversation recently, I get what you're saying, but the other side of that is you did get a lot of work because of what you could pull off on stage with that act. But at 62 years old, I can tell you with complete transparency and honesty that I wish that I had taken that advice and it worked clean. Who knows where it would have led to? I mean, I'm very happy where I am right now. I believe that the calling that God has on my life is to use comedy as a bridge to salvation and hope, because, man, all you have to do is just look around. If we take the time to look up from our phones, God's children are hurting, and hurting in a big way. And people need to laugh. They need to laugh. So that's just my thoughts on my long and 30-plus year illustrious career in comedy.
Right.
Had I taken that advice and worked clean, I think I would have.
Well, you got to remember, Charlie Hall ran Periwinkle. You told me that he told Joe Rogan that he was too dirty.
Right.
Joe Rogan just got a $100 million contract for his podcast. So,
right.
So Charlie was like, well, maybe, he said he had a kind of second thoughts, like maybe some people work dirty, some work clean, whatever works for that person. You know what I mean?
That's true. Like Charlie had said to me, and I told you this, John, in a private conversation, we did a comedy fundraiser show at my church, and I called up Charlie because he's a phenomenal artist, gifted, and I asked him if he would like to donate some of his art. He said, absolutely, Michael, come on over. So I came over, and we talked for quite a while, and he said to me, I wish I never told you that back then. I shouldn't have told you that. But it's like I said about 5 minutes ago. If I was squeaky clean, I would not have gotten all the private work that I got. No way. Because the shows that I was doing for Dana, you can't walk in with a G-rated bag and say, hey, folks, I just flew in, my arms are tired. I mean, you got to hit them, and you got to hit them hard. And so I wouldn't have gotten all that work. Wouldn't have gotten all that work at all. I was telling a story to Dana recently. I worked at Bally Total Fitness for 12 years. So I'm working Phone rings. It's for me. I pick it up. It's Claudia, the assistant manager from the Comedy Connection. She says, I have a private party at the Santa Maria Club, and so just backed out. They can't make it. Can you do it? It pays $350. So I said, let me find out. So I go ask my boss. I tell him, I said, dude, I can go do a comedy show. I got to do an hour. I'll be going like an hour and a half tops. I get $350. I'll give you $50. He goes, what, are you crazy? Leaving the club. It's busy, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So I go walking back into my office to grab the phone and tell Claudia I can't make it. So he comes in, he says to me, did you just tell me you're going to make $350 for an hour and you'll give me $50? Yeah. He goes, go, do it. So that was the kind of money I was getting back then to do
That was good money.
all these private shows for them. So if I was not as aggressive as I was not going to get that type of work.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. So it's like John said, it's a decision that you have to make. Are you going to work clean? And I believe that if you do work clean, then that's going to broaden the playing field for you. Now you're painting with a broad canvas. So if John needs a squeaky clean comedian, that's Steve, Larisa, or Kristy, bang, slot you right in. Need somebody a little bit aggressively, and you can do that, bang, slot you right in. So then you just have more tools in your bag.
I try to stay in the middle because when I started, I was a dirty comic. But eventually I saw that I got more work if I could be in the middle, and if a bachelor party came and I had to get dirty, I could do the bachelor party. And then if I did a bridal shower with older women and I did that, I was clean. I started figuring out that I can get more work if you can get like a clean act, 10 minutes or 15, whatever, to open at a party, and if it's going to be clean or dirty, if you can do both, you know what I mean, you'll get more work because I could say, well, Kristy can do this. It's on the dirty side or it's on the clean side. You'll get more work as an opener or a feature. You'll get more work if you're known as a dirty comic or a clean comic. Then if it's something dirty, they're not gonna book you. If it's something, So I think you're better being in the middle where you can kind of branch out. You know what I mean? And go whatever way you gotta go.
Here's a case in point for Steve, Larisa, Kristy, and you boys and girls listening at home. John used to have a room called, I think it was the Old McDonald's Chicken Farm. This room was known to be an older crowd. And after several years in, when I could pull off 45 minutes to an hour, John calls me up, always calls me, bad boy, I need you at the Chicken Farm. I said, John, come on, man. Those are not my people. He goes, no, they want you. They're asking for you. I know they're not asking for me. He just wants to slot me in there. So I said, let's do it. Okay. But please do this, John. Let's seat them age demographic. Put the younger people up front, put the older people in the back. So when I was closing a show, I don't like to be there in the beginning. And that used to drive John crazy. Where is he? Because this is before cell phones. So I get there maybe a half hour before I got to go on. And this is a bingo hall that John's got me at. There's blue hair. These are older people. I got to do 45 minutes. And I used to wear one of those Timex watches with the chrono time on them, the Iron Man watch. I can remember looking down at my watch. I was up there for probably like 4 minutes. It felt like 4 hours. It was one of the longest sets of my life because I can't unleash and do the bad boy a comedy act. These people are going to be horrified. So I've got to be respectful and work through as clean as I can, crowd work and everything else, to give them a good time and not have them be mad at me, not be mad at John. What did you do? You put this guy in and he's absolutely filthy. So boom. When I ran Meatball Comedy Stop Productions for a good number of years, I had quite a few rooms. And I partnered up with Groupon. Groupon gives you a great back-end tool that you can look at your data. And this used to always amaze me because they'd have comments. People could write the comments of what they felt. shows that were sold out, people just rolling in the aisles laughing, but there was always one or two. I didn't like this comedian. They were too dirty. I'll never go to another one of their shows again. You're not going to satisfy all of the people all of the time.
It's impossible. It's impossible. George, I did a show. I do a bit about my ex-wife being epileptic and I have asthma. It's a funny bit. I had a guy come up to me after the show. He said, "You were funny, but you offended me." I said, "Why did I offend you?" He said, "My daughter's epileptic, and you did a joke on being epileptic." And I was like, "What are you gonna do? I mean, that's crazy. You know, no matter what you do, there's always gonna be somebody that might come up and say you did great. There's always gonna be somebody that come up, Kristy, you said this, or I didn't like that you said that, or."
I think if you pull your punches because you're afraid of offending somebody, I don't think you can be a funny and effective. I think you just have to, you just have to do it. You know, if you think it's funny and people will take it the way that you had delivered it. You know, if people are going to be offended, they're going to be offended no matter what you do. I mean, if they're looking to be offended, but no, so I try not to ever. I got a couple of jokes that it scares me to do them. They worry me a little bit, but. You know what? I'll still do it.
Still do
I agree because first of all, it's a comedy club. It's not like you were performing at the epilepsy conference and you affected patients who are just about to see it. If I can ask a question, Mike, so you have done both, clean and clever and not so clean and clever. Tell me, what was harder in terms of writing the jokes and performing? Do you think clean and clever is a lot harder?
Clean and clever could be harder, or possibly it's not harder. What I do now is my set is all geared around what is my life like now at 62 years old. So I tell stories about me. I'm not a writer where I've got like notepads galore with jokes. I pick a topic. What's it like? What's a topic? Like I tell a true story about cutting my toenails. It gets great laughs. And the reason why they're laughing as hard as they're laughing, because guys that are sitting there in the audience, they say to themselves, he's right. You need a Black & Decker saw to get through your toenails at 62 years old. So I write now about my life. What's my life like at 62? I talk about rather, technology. What's it like living in the world of social media now? Now, back in the 90s, when I did the Bad Boy of Comedy Act, I was still observational, but the jokes were definitely, they weren't stories. They were what we would call a bit. So I would have this bit, that bit, that bit, that bit. And what I would do is I would build momentum, start out. Like I tell people now when I hit the stage, what we've got here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, this is a first date. We got to get to know one another. You got to get to know me. I got to get to know you. You have expectations. You expect me to be funny. I too have expectations. I expect you to laugh. Just a warm tickle their belly, get them going. So back in the 90s as the Bad Boy of Comedy, it was still that same philosophy. I wouldn't come out and hit them with my stronger stuff. I would work my way to it. And then because of all the private party work that I got and the bachelor parties that I got real good real quick at crowd work, working the crowd, going through it. And there's no one better than John Perrotta in the Hollywood Squares upper box. And John will tell you, you've got to be able to read them, to know that, okay, can I engage with this person right now, or I'm going to offend them? So back then it was more of a bit, and it would build up to a momentum to close, because if you're up on stage, regardless of what slot you're in, if you got to do 7 minutes or 45, you don't want to walk off to no laughs. You want them rolling in the aisles with the big laughs. So I would say, Larisa, back then it was harder to do, and that might not make sense to a lot of people listening. It was more difficult writing aggressively and doing, like, say, a dirty act or a blue act as it is today to just talk about life. But then again, I'm 62 years old. So at 62, I've got a lot of experience. So, you know, when I get up on a stage now, everything's slow. It's slow motion. You know, I'll see the person 7 rows back at a table go like this. I didn't see that years ago. John will tell you, the game slows down. You see things in the audience that you didn't see years ago. I'm not rushed to get through a set. Our good friend David DiLorenzo, who went home to Jesus recently, a great guy who I love dearly, gave me probably the best bit of advice anyone ever gave me throughout my comedy career. And that advice was this. He said, Mike, not everything you say on stage has to be funny. Wow. Think about that. Not everything you say on stage has to be funny. So it's okay to pump the brakes, collect yourself, collect your thoughts too. I do that a lot now, especially if I'm hitting them and they're laughing. I give them a break. Let's take a time out. So I pump the brakes a little bit because you can always pick right back up.
Oh, I don't like to hit the brakes.
So John,
I like to drive right through.
John, have you always done crowd work? Has that always been your thing?
Well, I started I came back. I did it in the 80s a little bit. I came back in 91, and I noticed when I did a little bit of crowd work, it would get more laughs than my jokes. But it took me years to figure out by doing a lot of back in the day, there were a lot of bachelor parties. They wanted comedians. So these guys would book me for bachelor parties, and I'd go in, and if I tell a joke, they didn't laugh that much. But then when I picked on, you know, one of their uncles or something, they all started laughing. So I figured it out. I got more laughs off the crowd work, but the question is, how do I develop this? You know, now I can go up, well, before the pandemic, I could do 40 minutes of crowd work, you know what I mean? Yeah. But now I don't know. I haven't been on stage since March 15th. And when was the last time you were on stage, Steve?
Right around then. So it was I went up to Salem, Mass, and I ended up getting there was a contest. They were running a March Madness tournament in Boston where they had 64 comedians, and they were, everybody did 2 minutes, like 2 people did 2 minutes, and then they picked the winner, and then you went through the whole bracket. And I got a slot in the field of 64. Wow. Yeah, and then the tournament never happened because of the pandemic. So
you got in a couple of comedy festivals too, right?
Yeah, I did one down in North Carolina where my brother lives, South Carolina where my brother lives, Salem Comedy Festival. I did one up in Maine. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're like, you know, some of these comedy festivals, they just like to book numbers. So they have all these shows and no one goes to all the shows. So it's not unlike, you know, open mic nights and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I was in a lot of contests through the years, and so those can be tough because you sometimes you think you should have won, or you think you didn't do that good and you wind up, you know, it's weird. Contests were weird. I came in once. I ran in from another gig to a VFW in Brockton, Mass. Paul Keenan was running it, this comedian. I came in second to Justin McKinney, he's a pretty big comic now. So, and then I came in second to Paul D'Angelo from Boston, who's a pretty big comic. So I won a few, but a lot of times I came in second, third. The contests can be tough.
Contests.
Yeah, they can be tough. So Kristy was killing it at the Comedy Connection, having a lot of fun. And when's the last time you were on stage, Kristy? Is it back in March or?
I did the Pub on Park open mic the first day that it came back after the pandemic.
Okay.
It was about a month ago. Yeah. I don't remember the exact date, but it was nice to be back. I was so nervous, but it was good.
It was like 30 comics, right?
It was crazy. There were 32 comedians. Wow. There were 32, and there was quite a few audience members, so it was even better than, you know, the last time I may have been to a show or something. It seemed like there was more of a crowd. People seemed to be happy to be back out. Everybody was responsible, and everybody laughed. It was nice to see things getting a little bit back to normal.
Well, what spot did you go up? What number were you? that night?
I
What number?
hosted.
Oh, you hosted?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Geez, you must have went crazy with 32 comics.
You know, it's funny because I have to work my day job the next day because it's on a Monday and I work Monday through Friday. But it was awesome because everybody was having such a good time that the night didn't even drag like you'd think it would.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
flowed. The whole night flowed. It was awesome.
And they had 4-minute sets, right? With 30 comics, was they 4-minute sets?
I believe it was 4 to 5 minute sets depending. Some people would cut it short just so everybody had enough time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That's
we
a
didn't
long-
have to, you know, stay later and keep everybody. Yep. It was
That's a
great.
long-
It was.
That's a long night.
Yeah, I think it was 10:30, 11 o'clock we ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a
something
lot
like
of
that.
a lot of fun shows that you were in. Some shows I did through the last few years, and yeah, I miss it. I miss it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
me
can't
too.
wait. Yeah.
Kristy.
Larisa had sent me an email with she did a set at a place called the Wage House, right? Wage House. She had a great set, and she was actually just coming on. I think I had her at the Comedy Connection coming up, and I had her at with the Copperfields and Pub Park. She was just getting into it. She was funny, and she was doing well. They said this pandemic hit and it threw everybody off. I honestly don't. This year, like some clubs are kind of opening, but it's spotty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for a while before it comes back to the way we had it, you know. But Larisa was at the Wage House. Yeah, that was a nice crowd there that night. They were very
sold out show. My first time ever sold out show.
yeah, they were very responsive to you. I know they were very
Yes.
responsive.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, have you been on stage
It was
since then?
15 minutes. It was a 15-minute.
Yeah. Have you been on stage since March or when?
Me?
Yeah.
I think last time I was on the stage at Copperfield. I believe it was February 27th.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And after I was supposed to perform at the Comedy Connection March 5th. And this is when I got the famous call from you.
Yeah.
Saying you're not going anywhere, you're staying.
We're not going anywhere.
This is why I have been since. And we were supposed to have a comedy competition in July.
Yeah, we were going to do a contest in July, and the last one we did was a lot of fun. Yeah, I like the Zoom things we're doing here because I get to show my comedy friends and see you guys, and have different comedians on. I'll have some of you guys back, and you know, it's a way kind of to connect with everybody, you know. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know personally when how bad this virus is going to get and when it's going to get better, when they're going to have a vaccine. I mean, I missed the shows. I want to do a show where I'm up and the crowd is right there, and I can shake a guy's hand, and like at Lemongrass after the show, we do a dinner show. I would go to the door and shake everybody's hand when they left. They said they had a good time. Like those days right now, you know, it's not going to happen right now.
on your first show back, you need to wear the mask with the shield that you brought today. You wear that mask and the shield. I want to be there. You wear it if you're going to wear it the whole time, though.
I guarantee you I won't wear that mask.
Kristy, I have a question for you, Kristy.
Sure.
Pub on Park, 32 people, 32 comics. Is that a bringer show?
No, just an open mic.
Just an open mic, okay.
Yeah, just an open mic. They normally did it like every Monday, and it had been so long since they had been back, so it was the first one, and everybody was just couldn't wait to get out. And because we had so much to practice, I guess all of us did so much writing over the course of the pandemic when we were all locked inside that, yeah, it was a fun night.
I understand, okay.
Yeah, he's getting 30 comics every Monday. He actually turns people away.
Now, do you guys all have a lot of pandemic jokes now?
Not really.
No?
No.
I don't know. I have like one. It was like when the pandemic hit, I didn't know what to do with myself on the weekend, so I got mulch to put in the yard and all the flower beds and stuff, and I bought way too much. So I didn't know what to do with it. I started mixing it in with the kids' food. So.
And the Miracle Grow.
Yeah, the mac and cheese was a little crunchy, but other than that, it was fine. So.
Yeah, I kind of I don't know what I'll do when I get on stage. Maybe I'll do a pandemic joke, but I don't know. I'll probably stay away from them, you know. This thing has blown my mind. You know what I mean? I didn't see this coming. My son told me back in January, he travels a lot and he knows people in China. And he said, Dad, there's this bad pandemic coming. You got to stock up on food. Your shows are going to get canceled. I said, you don't understand, Dave. I've been doing this 29 years. I think I had to cancel 2 shows because I was sick. I said, my shows are not going to cancel. He said, you don't get it, Dad. You're going to cancel shows. I'll never forget it. March 13th, we had a big show. I don't know if you were in that one, Kristy. It was at Whaler Inn.
Yeah.
You in that one?
Yeah, I got canceled.
Yeah, and the night before, on a Thursday, they called me up. We had like 150 people come, and they said, the owner wants to cancel the show. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
That's when I knew it was bad.
I knew it was bad then. And then that Saturday night, I had Asia Grill in Lincoln, and I've been there 14 years. I talked the owner into doing it. He was kind of leery. I said, let's do it. We had 85 reservations. That night, 27 people came.
Wow.
I knew that night, this is serious business. And they were already sitting all different apart from each other. And I knew that night. And I think I did a little birthday party on the Sunday. And the governor shut things down. And that's it. That's where we're still at today.
So, John, did you follow your son's advice? Did you hoard anything? Were you hoarding stuff?
Well, at first, I thought it was ridiculous. But then when I couldn't find toilet paper, I said, you got to be kidding me.
It was the wildest thing. I was looking around, and there was the weirdest things I couldn't find. It was like tater tots and carrots. I couldn't, for like the longest time, I couldn't find tater tots and carrots. I figured there's some guy in a bunker somewhere with, tater tots, carrots, and an AK-47, and he's going to write it all out. But I couldn't find him anywhere.
Here's a good one for you. My friend he's a handy guy. He's kind of doesn't do it so much anymore, but he does stuff for me. My deck was like 100 years old, like falling apart. So I said, Rob, can you do? So he said, he gave me a price. I'll do the deck. He comes in, he takes the.
Do you know a guy, John? You know a guy?
I know a guy.
Did he do your tooth too?
No. Listen to this, Steve. He takes the deck down. We get rid of it. They come and get it. Now he's going to buy the wood. Well, guess what? For the last 3 weeks, he's going everywhere. Home Depot, Lowe's, lumber yards. There is no pressure-treated wood to be found in this because so many people were out of work. They were doing projects around the house.
Oh, yeah.
So they bought all the pressure-treated lumber. You can't find it. So if anybody out there knows where to get pressure-treated lumber, let me know. Because now, if I walk out my back door, I'll drop. I had to put a sign on it so I don't forget. But there's no deck. You walk out, you're just gonna drop.
There might be a place in Abington, Mass, John. My friend just had the same issue with a new deck getting done. I'll find out the name of the it's a small town, Abington, Mass.
Yeah.
There's, I think, a family-run business. I can find out. My boss, her husband's a construction worker.
Yeah, find out. Let me know.
I'll talk to her tomorrow.
Yeah, if they got it, maybe we can get it from that because we can't find it. We can't.
John,
find
I can't believe you don't know a guy. Did you know a guy, right?
I know a lot of. If you ever told me,
John,
in my life that I wouldn't be able to find pressure-treated wood, which I never looked for, I would have said you're crazy. You know what I mean? No toilet paper at the beginning of the pandemic. Now you can't get pressure-treated wood. It's nuts. This whole year is crazy.
You can find carrots and tater tots now, though. That's good. I've been able to find them.
Tater tots?
Tater tots. I don't know. Somebody was hoarding the tater tots. So I have them now, though. I'm okay. I have some tater tots.
I was paranoid for a while. Larisa said, John, do you need toilet paper? I found it. But you couldn't find toilet paper, Kleenex, paper towels. These people, but I was starting to say, my God, you got to stock up on all this stuff because you don't know, what are you going to do? So this has been quite the year. Quite the year. Last year was awesome. My daughter got married. It was an awesome year. And the comedy was awesome. And I met some great people, always in the business. And I said, wow, this is a great year. 2020 started out January, February, fantastic. And then all of a sudden, boom, the pandemic hit. And my son was right. And it's like, That's why I've resorted to the Zoom shows, which it's fun. We get on here, we talk, we talk about comedy, we talk about life, and we can have some fun, have some laughs, and this has helped me doing the Zoom shows. It's not like a regular comedy show, but it's something, and people are looking in and they're viewing it. We're having fun, you know what I mean? What else can we do? What else can we? I mean, you're a nurse, Larisa. Mental health wise, this is good, right?
Absolutely. But who knew you and I will get bonded over toilet paper? Remember the text I sent you at 8 in the morning? Come over, I have some.
You want me to go get toilet paper? Larisa came over from Russia in 92. 92, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. She got the Russian, sounds like the Russian mafia. I'm like the Italian mafia.
John got off his bike in 1972. I came from Russia in 1991. See, because I was biking it, it took me such a long time. Yeah.
Drove the bike over from Russia.
Long, blonde bike path.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what else? Anybody else got anything on their mind? What else can we talk about? We got a little bit of time.
So I actually had the pleasure of meeting a young man today who is a local guy from Providence, and he's a Broadway performer. He was in the New Jersey Voice, and he was telling me it was a national tour, and he was in Tampa, Florida. They were just about to get on the stage, and the show got canceled. The governor said, no. I said to him, when do you think it will resume? He said, I don't know, not anytime soon. And it was very sad. It was very sad.
Yeah, because Trinity, PPAC, they're talking next year. The theaters, they're all talking next year. And
Broadway.
I'm thinking next year sometime before.
Because they need tourists to come and see the shows. Nobody's traveling.
Nobody's traveling.
Right. That's why day before yesterday, for the first time, they had Hamilton on the I think it's the Disney Channel. You had to pay $6.95 for it. So we have Hamilton. We can watch it from the comfort of our homes. Just not the same. Not the same.
Yeah, it hasn't been an easy year.
No.
So Kristy, what else is going on with you before we?
I'm working like in the car business, and we've been super busy, surprisingly. Super busy. So it's good because, I have to keep busy doing something else too besides, I don't have the shows coming, and that was part of what made me happy. So at least I'm busy at work. My kids are happy, who knows what's going on with school this year. And I was so happy to have a nice 4th of July with my family. That, I'm thankful.
And you've been
for that.
You've been dating Richard, right? Your boyfriend?
Yeah, Richard.
Richard, you've been going with him for 2 years now. I saw the other day you posted, was it 2 years?
2 years yesterday. Our 2-year anniversary.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if you seem really happy with him. I don't know him well, but you seem really happy.
No, he's great. He's great. He puts up with me, so you already know it's a match made in heaven.
If he can handle you, if you
That's
see
a man, John.
If you could see some of Kristy's Facebook posts, sometimes I look at it, I'm like, oh my God. The other day you put one, it was you were in the store or something, or she goes off on Facebook. If you want to see some, spice it up a little. Be friends with Kristy and read her Facebook post. Sometimes I don't even know what to say. I just read it and I'm like, okay.
That's probably the best reaction you can have, John. Just kind of just.
I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I'm shocked that I did bachelor parties. And I post is like, you got the post. Yeah, you get crazy.
What do you do in
there.
the car business, Kristy?
I sell to government entities, police stations, fire departments, leasing companies, things like that.
For a dealership?
Yeah.
What dealership? Let's give them a plug.
I'd rather not say.
I'd rather not say. I asked because outside of my 12 years at Valley Total Fitness, I am a lifelong car guy.
Oh, nice. See, I'm still getting into it. I'm 2 years in, so I'm new. But I mean, you probably have a lot more knowledge than me with cars in general. But the specific company I work for, I deal with one type of vehicle, so it's a little bit easier as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you can learn the craft faster. So I like it, but I still have a long way to go with learning about it. Maybe we'll talk cars sometime, though.
Yeah, so Mike, I'm a bit of a collector myself.
Are you really?
Yeah, well, I just picked up my fourth car.
What
it's
you got?
An 03 Corolla.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got an 09 Mazda. I got a, you know, I had a Toyota Sequoia. I mean, I got a lot of. My cars all have more than 150,000 miles on them. I'll tell you, the Corolla I bought. You know, all the people they'll tell you that they bought a car from a little old lady who lived down the street that had like 40,000 miles on it. I found that car. I found that car. I bought it from the little old lady down the street. It's got 40,000 miles on it. I don't think it's ever been, you know, it's been to church. That's been about it.
So you look for the deal, Steve.
Oh, man, it was sweet. Yeah. So, yeah, so I got 4 of them now. So
I used to smash all my cars up, but now I'm careful, more careful now. I used to get a lot of car accidents back in the day.
Well, I got children, so if I want to... I got 3 kids, so if I want to drive my car, I have to get them one because otherwise I'd be stuck home by myself.
I'll tell you a story. My first car, I was 16 years old. My mom and dad, my uncle was a mechanic. They got me a 1968 Chevy Impala from this older guy. Mint condition, like 60-something thousand miles on it. And me, I was a partier. I was 16. They give me the car. So now we're going to have, it's February. But it was like an Indian summer. It was so warm out. So me and a few of my friends planned a picnic in February. Honest to God, this is probably 1974. So we plan a picnic. 2 of the girls make all these sandwiches. The day comes, it's pouring rain. So I said to everybody, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll have the picnic in my car. So now I got 5 or 6 kids, me. We're in the car, we're eating sandwiches, who's smoking pot, who's drinking, all this nonsense, right? I let one girl drive my car. She drove it into some bushes in somebody's house. I wind up dropping everybody off. My buddy Sean, God rest his soul, him and I left. We're driving down Cranston Street. I'll never forget it. He says, you want a Suzy Q, those chocolate cakes with the cream inside, really good? So I said, sure, I'll have one. So I'm starting to eat it. He said, I'll hold the wheel. So now he's holding the wheel. I'm going down Cranston Street, eating a piece of chocolate cake, minding my own business. Forgot that I was driving. You know what I mean? He's got the wheel. He lets go of the wheel, but doesn't tell me. So now we're going down Cranston Street. I'm eating the chocolate cake. We both look up at the same time. There's a telephone pole right there. Smash into the telephone pole. We get out of the car. We're throwing cans of beer. It was bad. It was bad, right? My mother knew a police officer. God rest his soul. He came to the scene. That was before drunk driving.
He knew a guy, right?
Yeah, he came to the scene. He says, go to the hospital. Just get out of here. The car was totaled. Went to the hospital. My mother came in. Are you all right? She wanted to kill me. 5 days with the Chevy Impala. Demolished the car.
That's hard to do with an Impala.
5 days.
Wow. That's a big car.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
not only was that
I put my hand up and my face went into the steering wheel, but I put my hand up just in time. I would have lost all my teeth, but chips of my teeth were actually in my lip. My mother, for a few days, was getting a tweezer, taking chips of my teeth that were in my lip. I mean, I'm lucky I didn't get killed. You know, that's just one of many car accidents. That's a whole nother show. I got more accidents, and then luckily I stopped getting accidents. Knock on wood, I stopped getting accidents. You know what I mean? I hit a dentist once.
You hit a dentist?
Yeah, he was pulling out of his office. I'm going down Reservoir Ave. Somebody stops to let him go. I should have stopped. I just keep going. All of a sudden, he pulls out, demolished the dentist. So he didn't do any root canals for a while. I wiped them out. But But this is our time, so we got to go around now. We kind of covered a little bit of everything. Mike, what do you got to say to wrap this up? The bad boy of comedy, Christian
Hey, man,
comic.
I've had a great time on here today. Humbled and honored to be a part of the show. Larisa, it's great to talk with you again. I wanted to ask you some questions, but we are out of time. Our sponsor, Ovaltine, will not extend.
If you want to ask Larisa a question, go ahead. You got a question for her?
I wanted to ask you, Larisa, where do you think we're at pandemic-wise in terms of you working on the front line? What are you seeing there from a front row seat?
I think we are only at the beginning.
No, that's good news.
I think we're only at the beginning, honest to God.
You think we're at the beginning?
Yeah, I do.
You think it's going to get...
I see, so we test everybody. And unfortunately, I see more and more patients who have no symptoms, but they are positive.
So you think it's going to get worse before it gets better?
Well, there is no vaccine. People are tired of being home. We're at the phase 3 right now. So more and more people are legally can be outside. So yes, we're catching it. I mean, I haven't been at the beach yet. So far, if I haven't caught anything at work, why would I go to the beach where it's so many people together?
That's a good point. I asked you that question, and I'm sorry, John, if we're going too long.
Oh, no, we got time. This is our show. Whatever we want to do, we can talk till tomorrow.
I'm a big sports fan, and Major League Baseball is one of my favorite sports, and they're trying to come back, and I'm reading today and yesterday, more players testing positive. David Price, he's just one of many big name players, said, it's not worth it. I'm bowing out. I'm not going to play this season at all. So you're saying, Larisa, what you're seeing right now on the front lines is you think that we're still in an early stage here and it hasn't worked its course yet.
Right. Well, at the beginning, we all tried to be good. We were staying home. We were afraid, really, truly afraid. I think people just, I don't know, people are getting tired being home. People think the virus is so heat resistant, but it's really not. We see more and more cases in 35 states are coming back up. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. You say we're at the beginning. You think, my God, I've already had enough. And geez, the beginning, my God, geez, that's how you feel. That's the way you see it. You see it. You're there. You're in the hospital. So,
yes. Thanks for ending on that uplifting note.
Larisa.
I know we know it's up in 35, 40 states, and it's at the beginning. Yeah. This is great. This is great for comedy, Larisa.
More and more people going to get infected, right? Now more and more people going to get infected.
Jesus. I hope I don't. That's the last thing I want to wind up is with that thing, you know? Yeah, so. You have anything uplifting you could say, Larisa, besides that to leave us with?
I'm always, full glass, not even half full, full. I'm full glass. Listen, I love life. I enjoy life. Even if it's from a comfort of my backyard. I'm happy to see you all guys tonight. And thanks again, John, for inviting me. And
yeah, of course.
I can meet you guys, Stephen and Kristy. And hopefully we will perform someday together.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely all be back on stage. It's just a matter of when. Kristy, yeah. What do you got to say to wrap it up?
Larisa, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for everything you do. It was nice meeting you and Mike tonight. Steve and John, oh my God, it was so great to see you guys again. Thank you for having me. Just everybody stay safe and try to do the best you can. That's about it.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, Larisa, Kristy, Mike. What do you got to say? We'll give you one more. You got anything else to say?
I want to also thank Larisa. God bless you, Larisa, getting out there on the front line, working like this. I certainly appreciate it. I pray God's favor over you and your family. I pray God's favor over everyone here on the show tonight and that are listening. The one thing I can tell you is God is in control. God is in control. He will see us through this.
I sure hope so.
Absolutely.
You have to believe, right? We just have
That's right. That's right. God has told us, never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Not my word, God's word. That's God's word.
Where was God the night that I was eating that chocolate cake and hit the telephone pole?
Maybe you needed to learn a lesson.
Well, God said, you know what? I'm going to let him eat the chocolate cake and hit the pole.
So they say don't drink and drive, don't eat chocolate and drive, John.
Even before drinking and driving, I was a guy, don't eat chocolate and drive. That's crazy.
It's a good public service announcement.
I'm a car reader. I don't know about you guys. I've literally, when I worked at the prison, I go to lunch, I buy a meatball sub. I had an appetite. I was so hungry, I would literally unwrap it. I'd be eating a meatball sub in my car while I'm driving. I take a bite, I'm driving, I take another bite, I'd have crumbs of the sandwich all over me. I mean, I had ant piles on the floor of my car from eating in the car, Mike. I had so much. Are you a car eater, Mike? Are you a bike eater?
I'm not a bike eater, but I will close on my own here with this story. You're talking about the car. I drove my parents crazy with my car stories. I had a beautiful 1972 Buick Riviera, white, blue Landau top, blue velour interior. We had this massive snowstorm, massive. I'm out that night driving in it, going out to Halmax Bar, having a good time with my friends. So I wake up in the morning, my dad's yelling, Michael! Michael! So I yelled downstairs, what? He goes, where's your car? I said, it's in the driveway. In the driveway, my ass it is. So he knows where my car is. So I go downstairs. He takes me outside, trudging through the snow to the street, look down the street. Now, because they were out plowing, the snow pile was like a mountain. It was tremendously big, very, very high. And at the very top of that snow pile was my Riviera sitting up like this, like a monument to the snow gods. I don't even know how I got it up there.
You're not even sure.
Don't even know how I got it up there. I'll never forget it. Where's your car? In the driveway. In the driveway, my ass it is.
I took my father at a Chrysler. I was 16, 17 between cars. I kept smashing cars. He let me take his Chrysler. Why, I don't know. I go out. I went on a date with a girl that had something. I pulled in the driveway. It was kind of tight. And all of a sudden, I realized I got the right side of the car caught on the fence. So now I'm sitting there. What do? So I put the gas on. I smashed the whole side of the car. I was like, oh my God.
Wrong, really.
I went in, I put the key down, I went to bed. My father goes to work the next day. He comes home. I can see Short. He comes home. He was bananas with me. I smashed the whole side of his car. I was crazy. Wow. Yeah, I'm not too good with cars. That's a whole nother show. We'll have to have a car show sometime.
Yes.
All our accidents. You guys ever been in any accidents? Bad, Larisa, Kristy, you guys?
Thankfully, not bad.
No,
not bad.
Knock
Larisa?
on wood.
No accidents. Wow. I had a cop hit me once. I'm going through a green light. He's got his light on, but no siren. There was a big bush I couldn't see. All of a sudden, the cops come, and I swerved. He demolished my car. He gets out of the car. True story. He says, I'm a rookie cop, 6 months on the job. It's my fault. I'm supposed to slow down at the intersection. So now that's another demolished story I got. I got one demolished car after the other. So if I ever need a car to borrow, don't let me borrow your car.
Good.
Yeah,
I'll
noted.
eat chocolate cake. I'll get a caught on a fence. Get hit by a cop. Shit's going to go down. You don't want me driving your car. I'll take your bike, Mike.
Let me
I'll
write
probably
that
smash
down
that
here.
up too.
So,
I'll take your car with 40,000 miles. Give it to me.
No, you're not touching it. It's alive forever.
You got anything you want to say to wrap it up? You got anything you want to say to wrap it up?
Hey, it's been a lot of fun. Really missed the comedy. Really missed the stand-up. it's so much fun to do, and when you don't get to do it, you realize how much you miss it. So can't wait to get back out there.
I miss all you guys. Steve and I we're becoming great friends. Larisa and I are great friends. Kristy, I have been great friends. Love you guys. Mike, I've known since '91, so I love doing the Zoom thing. I'll have you guys back on, and it's a lot of fun, and we can talk about whatever and enjoy ourselves. Everybody stay healthy. Keep healthy, and God bless all you guys. And I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for coming on, everybody. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Stay safe in the hospital, Larisa. Be careful.
Thank you. You guys too. Stay healthy and safe.
Yes.
God bless you.
When this
Larisa.
is all
Thank
over,
you.
we'll all take a trip to Russia with Larisa. We'll go to Russia.
Comedy club.
Yeah, we'll do a set in a Russian club. The only thing is, it's going to be a bringer. You're going to have to bring 5 people.
Okay, well, it's already 4 of us. So
yeah, we're all going to bring 5 people to Russia. I'll see you guys. Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.